Hi, welcome back to Kern's Customs. Today we're going to go over a tool that I use all the time in the classroom for classroom management as well as time management, which I think are two of the hardest things in the classroom, no matter what you teach or what ages you teach. And it's something they don't teach you a lot about in college, so depending on who you had for student teaching or what kind of practicum you have, you learn different things, but this is a tool that I use all the time. We're going to be hopping online today for this classroom management tool, so you could use this on your personal computer in the classroom, on your teacher computer in the classroom, or on any kind of projection screen or interactive screen. It doesn't matter if you can interact with your screen via keyboard and mouse or a touch screen. Either one will work for this. And we're going to go to classroomscreen.com. You can sign up for this or pay for it. There are some pricing options to save screens and save classroom names and customize widgets and things like that. However, I just use the free one and I didn't even sign up for it or anything. You could if you wanted to. To save the widget bar layout might be a good option, and now they have saving 3 name lists, so you could sign up here. I might do that now that those are some of the options in that one because they do update it frequently. However, we're just going to check out the free one with the not even signing in today. So I'm going to go back to classroomscreen.com and just launch now. Whenever you do launch this, it will kind of upload a random background, but I like to use either my own custom background if I have an announcement for the kiddos, like back to school, or maybe a club is starting, or we have early dismissal that day or something. I might make my own backgrounds, and I'll show you how to do that. You can just upload a background here, whatever you want to do, and use that. But I also really like to use these common neutral backgrounds as well as some live backgrounds with some small animations. So for example, my last week in summer school was ocean themed, so I had this background up, and it's not too much animation where it's going to distract the kiddos, but it can be a nice calming effect in your classroom, which is awesome. I also really like some of the ones from around the world, and then there are just some like colors if you want it a little bit more neutral. We're going to pick just a color for now so that the widgets that I'm showing you really stand out here. I use 2 widgets every single day, and one of those is the clock, so that's really nice. I really like that it has both of the options here. It has the analog and the digital, so if you have learners that are learning to use those 2 different clocks, or you have all of those different ages in your room like I do. I teach preschool through 8th grade, so not everyone can learn the same one or read the same one. You can have this 12-hour or 24-hour, and then you can add an alarm here if you want to, which is awesome if you need to leave your room at a certain time of the day, or an alarm for yourself. And change the name or change the sound for that one. They have some built-in sounds that are nice. When you do click the sound, make sure you click the volume for that, or else it will not create volume. So just remember to click that little sound. And you can also customize the colors of this too if you want it to stand out a little bit differently, or disappear a little bit more. And that's right in the little settings gadget there. So I sometimes will have that where it's a little bit more muted on my background because I really want my timer to stand out. My timer is one of my most important features in my classroom, and this one's great. I always set it to the same timer sound. My kids are very accustomed to it, and they will know that as soon as they hear this, that's time to clean up. And I really like that you can repeat this. So for example, I have 39-minute classes, so I will set it 5 minutes early during the day for 39 minutes, and then it will sound off. And I have, for example, if I have 4 classes in a row, I can set it and it will just go for me, and it will repeat right after it's done, and it will go off 5 minutes early for each class so that they can all clean up. You can also use this for rotations, which is great, and you can pause here. I can also, so I have an interactive board, so sometimes if I forget to set the timer, I will send students to the timer to set it as well. Another one that I use quite often is images. So for example, if I'm looking at something specific, maybe you're looking at the cells or looking at a country for the day, or maybe if I'm looking at a specific piece of artwork, maybe if we're looking at Mona Lisa that day, I'll just go ahead and download a picture of that artwork that we want to focus on, or some examples, and drop her right in here. And I used to keep this kind of small and then drag it around when I wanted to use it with different classes. So I would load in a couple of these images that I wanted to use throughout the day and kind of have them stacked over in the corner and go through them. But a new really nice feature that they've added is a spotlight feature. So I can just spotlight whatever I want to show, and it kind of, none of my widgets have disappeared. This is just overlaid on top of them, which is awesome. And if you have an interactive board where you want to draw on top of this, that's great. If you want to circle things or have the students come up and show things, or if you want to draw on the side, if you're critiquing a piece of artwork maybe, this is a great feature for that. This is an awesome new feature that I've really started to love and enjoy. You can duplicate it too if you want to have like a compare and contrast, which is awesome. That's a great feature. I use the drawing box if I want to write for the students. If I want to give them a to-do list, I will use that with the writing box, or I will also use that with the text box as well. So I can have these ready for the kids. Maybe I have a to-do list for middle school, I have a picture ready for first grade, or even different subjects if you're teaching different subjects through the day, and then you can spotlight these as well, which is awesome. Your timer and your clock will still be running in your background, and then you can just hit your X when you want to go back to your full screen, which is great. Sometimes I will use the work symbols for reminding students to whisper signs, ask neighbor. I might also use the traffic light for this with younger students. So red, voices off; yellow, quiet voices; green, working voices. I will also use this to cue them that we might be, maybe it's teacher time, they're stopped, and it's my time to show them. So it's Mrs. whatever's turn, or the teacher's turn. It's our turn, we're working together, so we're working slow and steady, being patient with each other. Green, it's your turn, you can go at your pace. And you can make this larger and smaller as well. If you use QR codes a lot in your classroom, you can generate a QR code here, and you can generate it right in here. So for example, I'll just use the one I already have up, so I just pop that in there and it will generate the QR code for me, which is awesome. And we can spotlight that as well. So if you use QR codes a lot in your classroom, that is great. If you have your class working on some noise volume, if your computer you're using classroom screen with has a microphone, you can use this sound level. Whoop! And you can select your max noise, and it will give a little visual for the students. You can turn it on and off. So for example, if I'm teaching and we're talking a lot, I can turn it off very easily instead of opening and closing the widget. I can also spotlight this if maybe we're doing silent work, or maybe we're doing maybe we're having a test, or I want the students to practice being quiet. And I like that the bell will not go off over and over and over and over again. It kind of has a little timer that it goes through. Some other ones that I use very frequently are videos, so you can drop a YouTube video right in here. What is this? Kern's Customs up to. Let's see what they're up to. So the way I would do this is I just go into whatever video I want to play. Share. Copy. I can click when I want it to start. Drop that YouTube into here. And it will have my video ready to go, and I can have this kind of waiting over by the side, just like my other work, and then whenever I'm ready to play it for my students, I can spotlight and play, which is awesome. So I can have kind of all of my resources that I need for throughout the day right here with my timer and my clock and maybe my sounds. I can also have, I use the webcam a lot, and the way that I use my webcam, oh, hello. The way that I use my webcam is for my top-down camera in my classroom. So if you have a camera hooked up to your computer that is a Elmo or a document camera and it's plugged in, it will bring it right up with the webcam, which is awesome. So I use that quite often. Another one that I use a little bit is this Embed. So you can open up a PowerPoint as an embed code and place it here. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. So here I've opened up one of my PowerPoints, and the way that I would share it into my classroom screen if I wanted to use it that way is I would share, embed, and then it will give me this code to copy, and I will copy it into here, run code, and there would be my PowerPoint, and I can either drag it to make it bigger, or I can spotlight this as well, which is awesome, and run through my PowerPoint with my timer and everything else running in the background, which is awesome. If I want my timer and stuff showing why I'm showing this, I can just make it larger on my screen if I want to. Kind of move it around as I please. I really like that. That spotlight feature is new to me. I believe it was added this summer, and I really enjoy that a little bit more than this. It's a little bit cleaner for the students to look at and really shows them exactly what you want them to look at, but it still keeps all your other widgets showing in the background. So I really like this, and if I did want to open it up in my PowerPoint, I could just click on that, and I can also have some options here. All right. Let's clean up our screen just a little bit. We have a stopwatch here. We have a group maker, so you can open your settings and create some class lists. If you create an account, you can save 3 free class lists. If you want to pay for an account, you can create more. Let's just create a bogus class list to see how it can go. So if I want to create a list, I can choose different colors, I can choose the number of groups, I can choose the font size, and then I would go ahead and create groups, and it would shuffle for me, which is nice if you use quite a few groups. And you can choose your different lists here as well. Sometimes, but never often, I will use this die. So that's nice. This also has options for how many. You have kind of numbers as well if you do quite a few numbers. We have up to 20 if you're doing kind of math games. Colors, which is awesome. I use this when I'm lining my students up sometimes because I line them up from a colored rug, so I will kind of line the students up here, and you can pick the color as well. you can click whether or not it makes the sound here. So this is fun to line, like for lining students up or choosing students. If you have them in color groups, if you have them maybe numbered, you could do class numbers as well this way, which would be fun. And then also like math problems, if you're doing like specific, some math games as well. They've added some other ones, and you could have a couple of these because you can duplicate your widgets. So I could have multiple, so I could create a whole random math problem here, which would be fun. And each of my settings, I can customize the settings for each of those as well. And then last but not least, you have your calendar if you need to use your calendar quite often, or if you need to show students, or maybe you have an older group of students that's still doing calendar in the morning and you want to show them this. You have some options here as well. So what day your week starts on, Monday or Sunday, and then also your theme as well. And the day of the week will be, the day of the month will be highlighted. All right. That's pretty much it for Classroom Screen. I love this tool and I think it's great. You can make it full screen as well if needed. And I just love this screen. If you want to make more than one screen as well, you can name this screen. So I could name this, maybe I have this screen open for middle school and I want to make one for my younger students, or I want to make one for each day of the week. So I could add this one in and then create a new one. Oh, I almost forgot one of my favorite features for Classroom exit tickets and finding out where your students are. You can have a poll here as well. So I can name my poll. I can have maybe multiple choice. So what did you think of today's lesson? Or maybe how do you feel about watercolor, or whatever you want to ask. So you could have some smileys. You can choose whether or not it's going to hide results. I usually have it hide results. I like when it hides the results. So for example, if I didn't hide the results, each student would see what each other student would be picking while they're picking it. They might be, they might skew what they're thinking based on that, but they don't, and then they might not have to view it. You can see how many students have voted, and then I would just view it at the end. Or we could also do this for voting sometimes as well. So if we're voting on a movie or anything like that, I would write up on the board or use the writing here as well and say maybe option A is this, option B is this, etc. And then they would come up here and vote. They would come up and vote on which option they would like to choose, and then I would reveal the results at the end. You can also do science questions this way as well if you're doing hypothesis. You can maybe use true or false for that, or some multiple choice. So maybe you can ask the students if they think something's going to sink or float, and they can say true or false as a hypothesis, and then they can compare their results at the end, which would be a great way to use this as well. You can also toss things off to the side, and then they'll kind of disappear, but they'll be available to pop back open if you want to. And the way that I did that was I grabbed it with my mouse and literally kind of chucked it, like threw it off to the side. So. And then you saw that little bubble that it was still there for me, which is awesome too if I want to have things available, but I don't want to have like a pile of things on the side. And I can get back to my other screen by clicking the little arrow if I have multiple screens. Now, since I don't pay for a subscription, the way that I hold on to my screens is I kind of make them for the week. So I just set my computer to sleep at the end of each day, and so I like make them for the week. So I'll have a background, maybe it's back to school. that week. So I'll have kind of a themed background maybe, or something relevant. I'll have my pile of resources available that I need that week, and I'll just put my computer to sleep with this still open. And then when I come back the next day, when I log into my computer or my projector or whatever resource I'm using, it will be available for me. So that's what I do, since I don't kind of log into I don't pay to have a subscription for this. Alright, that's about it. This is a great resource, and I hope it helps you. If you have any questions of how I use it or other things you could use it for, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd like more tips and tricks and are looking forward to a What They Don't Teach You in College series, please subscribe for more of those videos down below. Bye!